Let's get into the advisory now. Women heading towards retirement with less than men, and the gap is widening, raising questions about saving habits, structures, and whether retirement itself is changing. Katrina Pulbrook from RJS Wealth Management joins me. Katrina, we know there's a number of reasons for this, but tell us why in general women seem to be less prepared to retire than men.
Juliet, that's a great question. First of all, we live a couple of years longer than men statistically. So that always makes it just that little bit harder. The other thing, unless nature really changes its course and men start having babies, we will always have those gaps in our careers. We will also be working part-time. ANZ did a survey back in 2023 with some terrific figures, which really highlighted where women are at the moment. There's 37% of women between the ages of 35 and 49 are working part-time. 42% of women are single mothers and working and trying to make it happen on a single salary. And we also have 47% of women who feel very anxious and nervous about their financial well-being in retirement. And it really is, doesn't matter what the government says or what they try and do, we're always going to have this issue. It's nature versus capitalism, I guess you could say.
Yeah, well, as you say, there are certain ways that our anatomy works. It means that those key things are not going to change. But do you think retirement is one of those things that some women just think is going to potentially disappear in the future, or what's with the maybe not the planning as much?
Well, I think the word retirement needs to be kicked out of the dictionary. I don't think anybody should actually retire. I think we ease into it. We do whatever we want to do. So the old adage is we give up work and then that's it, it's all over. And I think society has dictated that, particularly Centrelink, that 67 is the age. When I speak to people, that's what they think it's supposed to be. I have to give up work at 67 because that's what society is telling me. I think if we're ready to have a choice of what we want to do, and this is the key thing that women will miss out on in the future. We're natural nurturers, and we also put our families first. We also, we basically have this thing about our spending. There's more than 47% of women have a plan in their head of exactly what they would do in an emergency situation, which is quite remarkable.
Compared to men, you're saying?
Absolutely. Yeah,
right.
yeah. So, not that we're not talking sort of gender bias or anything like that, but men particularly have a no fear because they know that they can keep working, there's no gaps. Women tend to, in general, take the back seat, and they're the ones that will go part-time or push their careers around. I mean, obviously we get a few that don't, but that's the general bias there.
So what should women be doing in order to save? And, we always say a man is not a financial plan, to actually make sure that they're looking after themselves.
I think everybody should be salary sacrificing from the day that they start work. I had a colleague of mine some years ago, and her brother talked her into salary sacrificing the same amount that the employer was putting in at that stage, right back when she first started her first role. Now, if we did it today, that's like 12%. It's such a lot of money. But even if it was 5%, something that's more affordable, we would learn to live without it, and we would build our lives around that. So it starts small rather than not at all. So that's the very first thing. We should make it compulsory for ourselves to do that and start thinking about the future, because we have a fantastic life here in Australia, and we tend to spend what we earn most of the time. We have a zero savings plan per capita. So because of that, we basically live it up, and we put our hand right into the glove of our salary and tend to spend it. If it's not there automatically, we would more than likely be able to save, not just for retirement, but saving before retirement.
And why do you think, I mean, you've mentioned a couple of reasons, but why do you think in general, and we are generalising here, women do seem to have fewer funds than men, taking away from if they've had time out for, maternity leave? Why more generally do you think that is the case?
Because we've got a restricted capacity on our earnings as much as what we want to do. The key thing around women is basically, first of all, the superannuation for retirement, but even just savings. And when you're on a part-time salary, we are nurturers. We tend to look after our family first. Don't get me wrong, we're good at spending money, women. You know, there's a certain way we need to be in society. There's a certain way we look and act and all the things that we need to have. But we're generally find that harder. We don't have the disposable income for long periods of time. However, if we salary sacrifice right from an early age, if we started salary sacrificing, say, for 10 years and then stopped, we would have that snowball would be rolling down the hill with all of the compounding, and we would be in a better position in the future.